Welcome back to the Press Box. Mark Haskell, Zach Miller here. We are finally through the opening stages of the World Cup. We're at the round of 16.
Yeah, I know you're here for a full segment this time and get to talk the World Cup because Holly didn't want to join us.
That's
today.
right. Well, Holly kind of messed me up last week. She wanted to come in and talk, so you know how that goes.
I know.
Yep. We were just actually just off property just a few minutes ago and just finished up watching the last game of match play, which was England and Belgium.
Yeah, great game with a bunch of reserves there, I have to say. So many great players playing.
Just looking at the two matchups, you're like, oh wow, like these are like a lot of like heavy hitter players are going to be in these two games, and then we show up and Belgium's got 9 reserves playing and England's got 8.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the matchup we were hoping to watch, but obviously Belgium, they pick up the 1-0 win. They win Group G, so we've got the round of 16 all set now. But one of the what'd you think of the match? I mean, obviously it was the first half.
Boring.
The first half was pretty boring.
It was pretty boring. It was just you pass it around. We're just gonna run some clock here. It was almost like watching the end of an NBA game, just kind of dragging it on and on.
It seemed like neither team was really. Nobody really wanted to win this game.
No.
They
didn't. Well, neither of them kind of did. England wanted to win or tie 0-0. They didn't want to lose.
It seemed like they were just trying to do their very best to make sure they were going to play Japan.
Exactly.
And Belgium kind of screwed up, and they actually scored. It was a goal by Adnan Yadazai in the 51st minute. Yeah, I had to make sure I could pronounce that one correctly. I'm going to be completely honest with you, but he scored in the 51st minute, and that was the difference in the game. So now
a heck of a goal too.
It was. He deked that one guy out, and it was a left-footed shot.
Yeah,
and the
right
goalie
into
went
the top,
diving for
top
it.
left corner of the net.
It was a pretty goal. It was a pretty goal. But it's weird because you're looking at this round of 16. We'll rattle them off for you here real quick. I mean, it looks like Japan is probably the easier game, but now
in the harder bracket though.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because now England is going to play Colombia, but they're in a bracket that really, like you look at it, it's kind of Spain and then it's everybody else.
Yeah.
So we'll just run through it real quick. So in one bracket we've got Spain playing host Russia, which will be that should probably be a good one. Obviously,
going to be a good atmosphere there.
That's right. You always maybe who knows? Maybe you could see a Russia upset. Just with that home crowd and the energy going through. You never know. Spain, Russia, and then we got Croatia and Denmark, and we've got Sweden and Switzerland and Colombia and England. Now, I mean, you look at that and you think that probably England. I mean, England is really, really strong, despite what we saw today, from a lot of reserves. But I mean, Harry Kane didn't even play today. He's at 5 goals in the last 2 games, including that 6-1 win over Panama that they just had. So I mean, he didn't play at all. I mean, in that game today, Danny Welbeck came in late and Vincent Kompany came in late for Belgium. But for the most part, you didn't really get a good sense of what either of these teams are going to look like in the knockout round.
No, they didn't want to get get their good players out there and then get a card, and then you can't play in the round of 16, and then you're knocked out because one of your best players
one of your best players got a red card. Yeah,
in a game that really didn't matter because both Belgium and England both advanced.
Yeah.
So
and then in the other bracket we've got Uruguay and Portugal. That's going to be the first matchup, and that's going to be on Saturday. That's going to be a really good one. We've got France and Argentina, Brazil and Mexico, and Belgium. We just talked about they're going to play Japan.
A lot of heavy hitters in that top bracket there.
Yeah. I mean, I've picked Belgium from the start, and my soccer knowledge is tepid at best. I mean, I'm more of an EPL guy, and it's more casual. So I just kind of looked at a lot of the rosters, and I said, oh, well, they've got a lot of Manchester City guys on there, like Vincent Kompany and Kevin De Bruyne, and I really like a lot of those guys. But I mean, you look at like Portugal, France, Argentina. Brazil, Mexico, even with Chicharito.
Yep.
I mean, they've got a lot of solid players. That's going to be the tougher bracket to get through. You look at this other bracket, and you can pretty much, barring some sort of crazy upset, you can kind of pencil Spain and England right into that regional final.
Well, you never know. Like we were just talking about with Russia being the home nation and that atmosphere. There's a lot of energy that's going to be created from those fans there cheering on Russia. And Russia has scored a lot of goals in this World Cup, so. I mean, they have the offensive firepower to do it, but against Spain, who's a better team, I don't think so either. But you never know. That's why the games are played.
Well, the next couple weeks are going to be fun. I mean, I like jumping into the World Cup. Like I said, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but when World Cup comes around, it's hard to not get caught up in it. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice change of pace. And I think, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, in 8 years when U.S. is actually hosting the World Cup.
It's going to be a totally different animal.
I think it's going to be a totally different atmosphere, especially, if the U.S., bothers to qualify, which would be good.
Well, they will because they're hosting, so you get the automatic
that's
qualifier.
right.
So
that's right.
U.S., Canada, and Mexico will all qualify because they'll be playing the games throughout all 3 countries.
Hopefully all 3 of them have a good showing and they're not just all quick outs.
Yeah, hopefully. We got 8 years to build up develop the younger generation. So if you're out there watching, start playing soccer.
That's right. Well, let's switch gears right now. We've got obviously the Red Sox and the Yankees coming up this weekend. That's going to be a 3-game set in the Bronx starting tomorrow night. We're taping this Thursday, so this will air Friday. So technically it's tonight.
Yeah.
But it's going to be obviously like these are the two top teams in MLB right now, record-wise. I mean, the Red Sox are 54-27, the Yankees 52-26.
And it's the Astros. They're all three of them are kind of right there, one
Mm-hmm.
step with the other.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those series. It's obviously going to be, whoever wins the series is going to come out on top of the AL East standings, which seems to bounce back between Boston and New York every other day. Sox now lead the standings. Well, we're taping this Thursday night. They lead the standings going into Thursday night by half game over New York. Who knows what will happen tonight?
Right.
But after, it's any club's standings right now between the Yankees and Sox, because the Orioles, Rays, and Blue Jays are not winning.
Yeah, I think the Yankees.
series.
I think the Yankees and the Phillies might play tonight, Thursday night. I'm
Yeah.
not positive on that, but yeah, it could be even by the time the
A couple
game
pretty good
actually
pitching
happens
matchups
tomorrow.
coming up too.
Absolutely. So Friday night we've got Erod and Sabathia, a couple lefties right there. Obviously, Erod, younger, little unproven. Be nice to get like maybe a couple nice starts out of him. Sabathia, he's a little over the hill, but when it comes to him and the Red Sox,
He's
never
had a better season, second half of this season. Well, we're halfway point right now, but the first half of the season wasn't great for him, but he's kind of bounced back and settled things down.
He's a wild card for sure. I mean, then Saturday's game, which I'm really looking forward to, is going to be Chris Sale against Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray has been just a dumpster fire for the Yankees this
Well,
year.
besides
He's been
Sabathia and Severino, their other good pitcher,
Mm.
who's the guy that's on the DL? I can't remember his name.
Pomeranz.
No, for the Yankees.
Tanaka?
Tanaka,
Yeah.
he's been on the DL, so they've had to bring in two really unproven guys, and we're going to see if that really bites the Yankees.
Of course, we're not seeing any of those
No,
guys.
of course not.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
just the way it falls.
Sunday night baseball is going to be the good one. We're going to be Severino and David Price, which makes me laugh just thinking about the fact that David Price is finally going to pitch against the Yankees.
Yeah, maybe he'll play Fortnite in between the innings just to get his
Did you
confidence
see
up.
the last thing that they did after his last start? Like, they brought him on camera and they said, "Are you going to be ready for this Yankee start?" He just said something like I don't know if I'm going to be there. And one of the reporters said, "Fortnite tournament?" He said, "Yup."
Yeah.
He just walked off. It's pretty badass, actually. Like Price, I'm hoping that he's starting to tip in the scales of the good graces of Boston fans. And I tell you what, man, a big start, like a big 7-inning effort from him. 2 runs, 7 or 8 strikeouts
Well, that's what he's been
in
giving.
the Bronx. If he can do something
That's
like
huge.
that, that's going to swing this whole season for the Red Sox.
Well, that's what he's been doing the whole year almost, really. He's been going that 7 innings, 8 innings, and giving the Sox
Well, you're not wrong,
starts.
but this against the Yankees particularly, not just because they're the Yankees, but because this is another heavy hitter in the AL. It seems like a lot of those really good starts Price has had, he's been beaten up on lesser teams.
Well, yeah, but still, they're still great starts. I mean, any team could rock you for any amount of runs. Oh, yeah, exactly. But like you said, we'll see how he does against one of the better potent lineups in the American League.
And another interesting stat, as of Thursday afternoon, the MLB leaders in slugging percentage right now, we've got Mookie Betts at 684, JD Martinez at, 684 for Betts, 654 for JD Martinez, and then in third place, this guy named Mike Trout with 645.
So remember a couple months ago, at the kind of a month and a half into the season, when I said Betts is the front runner for the MVP, and he could probably win it this year. And you're like, well, let's temper the expectations. We're about a month in, and he's still producing these numbers. I think it's safe to say that he is the front runner for the AL MVP this year.
It'd be tough to disagree with that, especially they're both really comparable players, but a lot of times tie goes to the runner. You kind of give the nod to the guy that's leading his team to a playoff berth, and Trout hasn't led the Angels anywhere. I'd be surprised if he stays in LA much longer. I've been hearing like he's actually a big fan of my Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if you know that. So he might actually go to the Phillies, in the next couple of years when his free agency comes up. So you never know.
I don't think that'd be a great move, but that's just me personally.
Well, hey, you'd get him out of the AL.
That's true.
Wouldn't be a bad move if you're a Red Sox fan, and we are.
The Sox don't play the Angels that often, though. They play, 2, maybe 3 times a year?
Why do you just want bad things for Philly?
I'm just saying, we don't play Philly at all. So, like you said, get them out of the AL. Now we don't have to see them unless the Phillies get to the World Series, which probably won't happen again for a little while.
Right.
So, but it is what it is.
Well, let's wrap things up real quick. We're going to talk a little bit about some NBA. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff going on now. Lots of trade rumors swirling.
Couple days till the... I just drew a
LeBron.
blank.
Well, is LeBron
free agency?
Right. Is LeBron going to stay or go? Is he going to stay in Cleveland? Is he going to opt out? They're already saying Paul George has already told Oklahoma City that he's not opting in So that would lead you
Paul
to believe
George
he's
is going to be in Los Angeles.
He's going to leave, but there's still rumors swirling saying maybe he might re-sign for another contract. But I don't know why. Why if you're going to opt,
he's going to LA.
If you're going to stay, you're going to opt in.
Yeah, LA is going to give him so much more money.
But the big rumors that have been swirling is Kawhi Leonard, and they've really been starting up big time today with the Lakers and with the Boston Celtics, and it's just brutal.
Why?
It's just brutal. I
need Kawhi.
Well, let's start with your take on this, because I have a feeling we feel the same way. But what are your thoughts on Kawhi possibly coming to Boston? Probably going to have to be a big trade package to get a player like him. He is one of the best players in the league.
Well, San Antonio is going to either want Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, along with probably Terry Rozier
and picks
and a bunch of picks. And I told you this earlier, the Celtics are projected to have 2 top 10 picks again next year, with Danny Ainge's marvelous wheelings and dealings of the years past. And one of those picks is number 3 again, which has been pretty kind to the Celtics in the past couple years.
It's worked out very nicely.
Worked out very nicely, but we don't need Kawhi. You have Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, you have Tatum, you have Brown, you have all those other role players. Plus you have Tatum and Brown for 2-3 more years on their rookie contracts, which is a lot cheaper than paying Kawhi Leonard a max contract, which the Celtics are already over the cap anyway, so they would have to pay a bigger luxury tax.
This is also not to say that Kawhi probably isn't one of the top 10 best players in the league.
He is, but he's also coming off a pretty big injury.
He's coming off a big injury, and he just quit on his team. He whatever his injury was, his phantom injury, it wasn't like I'm going to miss 70-plus games kind of injury. I mean, he was there for a handful of games, and then he was gone. That the Spurs couldn't locate him. They couldn't contact him.
I've read that the Spurs kind of mishandled his injury, too, and he was very sour against how the team and the organization for how they did that, or why they did that. I have no idea.
Obviously, I can't tell if you're making excuses to make him come to Boston or not.
I don't want him in Boston, personally. The Celtics don't need him. They were, half a game away from going to the NBA Finals. They've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row. They have all the pieces coming back that they need.
They don't need him. They don't need him, and I don't like the idea of us trading away a bunch of assets that we've been building for a long time.
Exactly.
For a guy that, screw whatever you say about the organization. He quit on his team. He quit on his players. Those guys in the locker room, he quit on all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do I want Kawhi in Boston's locker room? I really don't. If the trade happens, could they still be really good? Yes. But, having Irving, having Hayward, and having pretty much that whole nucleus of players, they might make a couple little moves in the back end or something like that. But really, you're going to have that whole team back and healthy. I want to see what that team looks like at least one time.
Well, they're going to have to re-sign Marcus Smart, too. He's a restricted free agent, so the Celtics are going to have to work something out there, probably give him around $12, $13 million a year for him to stay in Boston. And from all signs, he wants to stay in Boston, which is a good thing. He's a heck of a defender, and it's been a spark plug, especially when he came back from the injury in the playoffs. He lifted the Celtics to those victories over with the Cavs, some of the Cavs, and who they played in the second round again? I can't remember. Sixers, thank you. And then even for the Bucks, I think he came back in the Bucks series and kind of lifted the Celtics that one extra step to get them through Milwaukee.
Well, we're going to have a lot more to talk about next week. We're probably going to know where LeBron's going to be. We're probably going to know where Kawhi's going to be. We're probably going to be into the quarterfinals and maybe even a little further in the World Cup. There's going to be a lot going on, and maybe we'll even have some local stuff to talk about. It's been pretty quiet on the local front right now. We've still got District Little League and Babe Ruth and all that kind of stuff happening, but before you know it, school season's going to be back, and we're going to be raring to go again. So
2 more months.
Yep. Well, I'm Mark. This is Zach. We'll see you next week on the Press Box.